Now it is. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh, amateur hour.
Yeah. Old pro forgot to turn his mic on. Oops. It's the barlive.barlivedallas.com. PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, heard every Tuesday through Friday. Changing to Mondays very soon. Just don't hold us to that. We'll get that down probably next week. We'll see. We'll figure out how that works. Let's see here. Jimmy, we have a phone number. We never give the phone numbers out. I was talking to somebody last night on Facebook who said, does that phone number even work? I'm like, yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's 214-736-3569.
Give me that number one more time.
214-736-3569.
All right. Also, check us out on Facebook. It's thebarlive.com. Contribute in any way you want there. It's just a fun place to sort of commiserate, gather and commiserate. Jimmy Ryan is here. Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Doing great, man. How about you?
Brandon is here. We're back at the Brandon Sunbrew Beach House here in sunny North Dallas, Texas.
Yo, what's up?
What's happening?
Just hot days.
All right, so the Olympics are starting, and this chick's kind of cute too. Remember I was telling you about the girl from the Greek Olympic team?
Yes.
Who got kicked off? This girl got kicked off the Greek Olympic team. A lifetime of training to be in the Olympics, and she gets kicked off for making a joke on Twitter. You see this all the time. What is it with this younger generation wanting to somehow, what would we call this?
Tweet?
No, not only tweet, but whenever kids do crimes now, they always got to videotape it. They always provide the police with the evidence needed to, and in this case, this is not quite the same thing, but, you know, she made a joke, and the Greek Olympic Committee didn't like it.
I think that what it is with this generation is that this generation has the technology to do it.
But they're not smart enough to understand
not
how
every
the technology...
Not every crime is posted to YouTube by the criminal. Very few of them are. The ones that are, we pay attention to and we see them on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's always by 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's always by, like, kids who like, yeah, let's go rape that girl and film it. You know, I mean, it's, like, stupid. I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
But at 15, I mean, your sense of right and wrong is a little bit miscued. I mean, it's a little different than it is.
And then they do things on Facebook. Like, kids think their Facebook pages are private. Like, they think that nobody is going to find out what shenanigans they're up to.
But you can accidentally put things out, too, sometimes. Like, that's why I have sworn myself to not tweet when I'm drunk. If I tweet when I'm drunk, it's not going to end well because I'm just going to start tweeting things that are just like off the wall.
Now, have you had bad experiences with this?
A few times. I've had to delete in the morning. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's gutless. You never delete a tweet. Never. You put it out there, it's out there forever. You just got to sit in it.
Until you want to delete it. Every once in a while.
All right, very good. All right, here's the story. Triple jumper Vula Papachristou. Yeah, I nailed that name on the first try. That's right. Vula Papachristou was expelled from Greece's Olympic team Wednesday for her comments on Twitter mocking African immigrants and expressing support for a far-right party. All right. I didn't hear about the far-right party support, but I don't know much about... Here's what I know about Greeks right now. I know they're broke. I know that the government's in a shambles. I know that there is a crazy far-right fascist party that wants power there to sort of return Greece to its once great self. There was a speech being made by a bunch. This was over the weekend. I saw this. These Greek politicians, and it was being translated, but they said that they wanted to return Greek to its once great self. And I thought to myself, when was that? Like in ancient times? I mean, when was Greece great? In the last 1,000 years, when was Greece great?
There was not the last 1,000 years.
They gave up. Yeah. They formulated democracy, and then they gave up, and then that was it. And we didn't hear anything from them since the days of Plato and Socrates. And half the shit we know about them is made up. Half of it's all myth, like Zeus and all that stuff.
Well, it gets really good after it the game Telephone. Like, it's like the game Telephone through history. It just gets better and better, the story. It changes and changes and changes, but it just gets better and better. So, I mean, like, 1,000 years from now, Plato would have had wings.
Yes. Yeah, and Socrates has gills.
Yeah.
He could swim underwater. he's a combination of Neptune and philosopher. Triple jumper Vula Papachristou was expelled from Greece's Olympic team Wednesday for her comments on Twitter mocking African immigrants and expressing support for a far-right party. The Hellenic Olympic Committee said Wednesday that Papachristou is, quote, placed outside the Olympic team for statements contrary to the values and ideas of the Olympic movement. Papachristou is in Athens and has not responded to calls from the Associated Press. The committee said she was to travel to London shortly before the track events start. Papachristou's Twitter account, if you wanted to contact her, I'm not even going to try it. It's Papaxristou. It's insane. There's a J at the end there for no reason. I have no idea. Contains several retweets and postings of YouTube videos promoting the views of Golden Dawn, a formerly marginal extreme right party that entered the Greek parliament in recent elections in May and June of this year by polling almost 7% of the vote. All right, so it's a crazy. It'd be like if the Klan kind of ran, or like some Nazi party here in America ran and got 7% of the vote.
Yeah, if anybody can get 7%.
Hey, dude, that's democracy.
Yeah.
If they want to run and they're going to get 7% of the vote, if they get 50% of the vote, guess what? That's what we are now. That's what democracy. Democracy isn't just guaranteed to be good. What if all the people are idiots?
Democracy is ugly sometimes.
Democracy's real ugly sometimes. Like in Egypt. Where they just elect a bunch of terrorists. They have freedom, they're given democracy, and they elect a bunch of terrorists. Who don't want democracy.
They went for the only other option that wasn't already what they had. That's what they went for.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess.
So,
Papachristu's Twitter account contains several retweets and postings of YouTube videos promoting the views of Golden Dawn, a formerly marginal extreme right party that entered the Greek parliament in recent elections. But it was her attempt at a joke Sunday that went viral. Commenting on the widely reported appearance of Nile virus-carrying mosquitoes in Athens, Papachristou wrote, "With so many Africans in Greece, the West Nile mosquitoes will be getting home food." See, that's funny. That's funny to me. Now, turns out that she has some far-right leanings, which means that joke probably was racist in nature.
right.
But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be. I don't see anything racist about that joke. If we have a bunch of mosquitoes that are native to a certain area, and then a bunch of those people from that certain area are also here with the mosquitoes, hey, like if there was a Wisconsin mosquito and there was a whole bunch of people from Wisconsin here, and we saw a bunch of mosquitoes that were from Wisconsin too, we'd go, well, at least the mosquitoes can have home cooking. That wouldn't be anything racist.
Right. That would be making a tribute to the fact that they're coming from Wisconsin.
It's contextually witty, is what it is. You took the context of the two things, put them together, and so she's basically banned from the Olympic Committee. She's banned from the Olympics. And she's cute, too. Look at this. Brandon, you like her.
I think she should come join Team Sunbrew.
Team Sunbrew.
Yeah, we'll take her.
Where she can make tweets like that all day.
We'll welcome that.
Sure.
She is really cute, but why? What a weird picture to be using, her like face down in the dirt, looking up, smiling.
Well, it's obviously after a jump. She's one of these triple jumpers, which I don't understand this event. There are so many events in the Olympics that have nothing to do with, like, I understand who's the fastest. All right, everybody line up here. First one to that end wins. I get that. That I understand. Even stupid things like shot put. Who can throw the big lead ball the farthest? I get that. But triple jump? Have you ever seen the triple jump? Who jumps like that?
What is it where they actually have to make 3 full jumps without moving?
Yeah, it's like they sprint, they take one long leap, then another long leap, and then they like hop into a sand trap.
Yeah.
It's like, it's insane. Who runs like that? What skills are those used for?
It's the kind where you're jumping on rocks to get through a river or something, though. You know, like you got.
Okay, that's good. See, now we got to backtrack. We got to figure out where did this event come from? Because there must have been some practical application of this ability that they went, oh, who's the best at doing that? So it had to have been something
there's like a 10-foot river, and there's like a couple branches sticking up or a rock, and you got to go pop, 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 and you're getting chased by the natives back in the day. The Indians are chasing you.
Wherever it is.
And that's how the guys got away, and they called the triple jump.
Yeah, it has to come from something like that. So why don't we hold the event like that? Why don't we have a river with a bunch of rocks, and they have to actually
and a bunch
jump?
of people chasing you?
Maybe we don't need people chasing you, because I would think that when they, this would be a leisure time activity. So, they just have to do it on their own.
So basically, the broadcast would be a camera fixed on a bunch of pond rocks, and they'd be like, at any moment they could do it.
Yeah. I don't know. The Olympics are starting, and the Olympics are really stupid.
It's called American
they are.
Ninja Warrior now. That's really where it's at.
Yeah, really. I would rather watch American Ninja Warrior than watch the Olympics.
It's just very outdated. I mean, like just like you were saying, like who does this? And it was made in a time when there was really nothing going on, so they just had to come up with stuff. I mean, like I would imagine they were a lot like if you put like a couple 3-year-old kids out in the backyard with nothing to do.
Yeah.
This is what they would come up with.
Throw them a couple sticks, a
Yeah.
ball, and a shovel.
Yeah.
And then they'll come up with
The
Olympic
Games.
activities. Yeah, they will. That's right.
Yeah.
The Olympics are so stupid. Oh, and they ruin TV for the next couple of weeks. Swimming.
Yeah.
I don't care about swimming.
No.
Swimming is a high school sport. You know,
Yeah.
when I go to the mall and I see the pack of 5 guys that are all ripped walking around with their shaved heads, I know that's the local swim team. Mm-hmm. That's all I need to know.
And you know that they won't go on to be professional swimmers.
Exactly.
Because there's no need for that.
Professional swimming. How stupid is that?
We're on land, haven't you heard?
What are you doing? Why are you dedicating your entire life to a sport that you've got no upside? I mean, you're gonna be done when you're in your 20s. You better be really good because that's the only way you can make a living off of it. You know?
Yeah.
Even, I don't even know what kind of living, but I imagine you can make a nice living.
You say that it's because you have to in high school you got to choose either PE or do a sport. Well, PE sucks. It's for the dorks, more or less.
You had to choose? God, we had PE every day.
No, you had to choose. You had to choose either be in PE class
Right.
or you can take a sport as an alternative. And a lot of people think it's cool.
And what did you say that the PE was for, Brandon?
the dorks?
And where were you?
I was on
What
the
were you
golf
trying
team.
to say about what were you trying to say about your pugs?
Well, I was on the golf team.
I don't understand that because we
Golf?
we had PE every day. We had a badass golf
Yeah,
team.
but if you played a
We have-
sport, you'd use that time to go practice your sport, not PE class.
Well, you'd use the time to practice your sport after school.
No.
No, you'd have a. Well, I don't know if it was the same
maybe
way.
maybe
though.
different in
Yeah.
Chicago. Maybe
not.
different there.
Yeah,
but
apparently
here
we're more into physical fitness up there.
no, and here it's no. What's wrong is that here they take that time to go. Let's add that hour plus the other 2 hours after school and combine them and get the most out of these athletes. That's what they're doing, Pugs.
No,
They don't need you jumping rope and
that's not-
throwing basketballs.
First of all,
or doing a
Brandon,
softball
that's
team.
not what they're doing. What they're doing is cutting the budget by not being forced to offer a daily PE education class. That's what they're doing.
No, you're wrong.
Yes,
You're wrong.
they
You're
are.
wrong. You're wrong.
No,
You're
I know
wrong.
they
They
are.
still-
I was in football. Like we did probably more time out there in the fields
He's right.
with football pads, with more things that would cost more money than we were in class.
Yeah, and they're
So, like,
utilizing that extra hour to get more out of you.
now our football program was like basically the breadwinner for the school, but when it came down to it, we were definitely
No.
out there more than
Okay,
almost any
that's
other
fine.
state.
I'm not
does
arguing
anything.
with you,
Yeah.
but that's about budget. If the schools had it in the budget to offer PE, physical education, to everybody every day,
You're
they
wrong.
would
Oh,
do
and
it.
they do.
I'm not wrong.
No,
Hold
they
on,
do.
hold on, listen
know
to
how this
listen,
works.
listen to us for just 1 second, okay? They're still taking the time you would be in PE class and
Right.
using it, okay, at school time where a teacher's got to be there, but they're combining it with to get more out of your football time. Instead of getting you 2 hours, they give you 3 hours.
Instead of just benefiting and teaching you about physical education.
They are though. How
No, they're
No.
not. No, they're not. They're
No.
getting you out on the football field
No.
to practice. They're not teaching you about stuff.
No,
Honestly, I don't think we had the same PE classes. I think you guys just ran around in a field throwing sticks at each other. Is that what
I
PE
think
class was?
I think that you're
'Cause
judging
we had a
something you have no
classroom.
idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't
what it
think you
is
understand.
you go to either PE, and if you aren't going to go into a sport, then you are able to opt out of the PE and only do the sport. So you're going to go to PE no matter what. And then if even like as you were going through grade school, you went into PE before you were able to get sports, so you were doing all the things like dodgeball and things like that you would normally do in PE class,
Right.
running around. So like,
And
yeah,
I'm telling
it's
you,
the exact
we
same
did
thing.
both. We
Okay,
were
well-
in sports after school, and then we were mandated to have PE class every single
But what was
day.
the benefit of you of him
we
doing
did too.
dodgeball?
We did too.
What was the benefit of him playing dodgeball when he could have been doing more football time when he played football player?
I don't know. We didn't play dodgeball in high
Or
school.
what, I'm just getting hypothetical.
didn't, I mean-
okay, whatever you did do,
Yeah.
he's already going to go run
we did
laps.
weight training. We did health classes.
does it in
We
football.
did all
Weight.
that.
You do all that in football.
We had 4 quarters per year, and every quarter was a different thing. It was either weight
Yeah.
training, swimming, that stuff.
That's
was
what you do in
us too.
football.
Yeah.
You just
All
But
season
you
football.
played football, so you had football practice afterwards. I'm telling you.
No, but part of football practice on the team is not just catching the ball. Part of being on the team is running laps, doing push-ups, working out. That's all part of football in Texas, at least. And that's the way it works.
Yeah, and that's what happened at 3:30 every day when you went to practice. The first hour of practice was
no.
nothing
But
but
they
working
got an
out in the
extended
last
You
hour
were
of
you were
practice.
there since 1. If school ended at 3, you were there at 1, and you didn't leave until 5:30.
Yeah, but that ain't good. What is that? You're just focusing on football for half your day?
No, you're doing workouts. You're doing
no
all
wonder
types
everyone
of
in
stuff.
Texas is an idiot. You're not
No.
getting education.
That was brought to you by Pugs Moran, not that of the Bar Live. The views are not expressed by the barlive.com.
You're not getting a real education. You're not learning how to square dance. You're not learning how to. You're not learning how to health class. Your health class wasn't a part of your PE.
We had separate health. We
Separate
had to do
health classes, yeah. We take that very seriously in
We had
Texas.
to do
Separate
two
health
health
classes.
classes.
Yeah.
We also don't combine that
Very
with driver's
serious.
ed. We separate that too, just so you know.
Yeah, driver's ed was yes, of course. We separated everything.
Yeah.
You can't really be okay. All right, are we gonna get into like a whose cock is bigger? Are we gonna start to measure the education system in
Well,
Illinois
if you wouldn't have
versus
been wrong,
Texas?
if you would have
Oh
came
no,
out.
I'm not measuring
wrong.
the education
because the
system.
education
I am,
system in Texas is horseshit.
No, the
It's
education
horrible.
system, but the athletic
And it just speaks to me-
system is much better than most states.
The what system?
The athletic system
yeah.
is much better than most
But
states.
that's kind of
that's
why
what
the
you were talking
education is
about.
horseshit.
That's what you were
Right.
talking. We were talking about the fact that they weren't doing PE or sports. You just admitted that they're much better here.
At
so
what?
like the sports, the athletic departments. Now
Yeah.
the education sucks. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. English, you probably had a much better English teacher than I did. Mine, I think, was even the coach. So like, so yeah, I'll give you that. But we were talking about PE and athletics.
Seems to me you should do both. Seems to me you should be mandated to take a physical education course and then if you want to play a sport, you
And we
play a
did.
sport afterwards.
We did.
Yeah,
I
but
did 6 years of PE before I was even able to opt into a
It
sport.
doesn't seem right, though. It seems like you're concentrating too much on something that isn't going to serve you as a student, unless you're going to go into the NFL.
No, it serves you as a. I've already made the point for football. It serves you as a person. Sports do. Like
It
as
teaches
a-
dedication, commitment, training, work ethics. It teaches a lot of things here in Texas. I don't know about where you're from,
That's right.
but
'cause
it's
sports are
pretty
different
serious.
here than
It
they are
keeps you to be on
elsewhere.
time. It punctuality. There's a lot. You don't jack around in sports teams around here in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You learn a lot. I tell you right now, you learn a lot more because a PE class in Texas, for the most part, Jimmy, you could have been different where you're at, but for the most part, it's just a place for guys just to kind of kick back, do what they have to do to get by, do a couple push-ups, a couple sit-ups, lay there. Half the time they don't even care what you're doing. But if you're on a football team in Texas, buddy, you're marching to a different. It's tougher.
So by your own admission, anyone who's not in football, they don't care what you're doing.
No, I'm
you
just saying-
show up to
I'm
a
saying it's-
warehouse class.
there's
You
less-
sit in shorts and a t-shirt, and you do nothing because they don't care about you if you can't play
care,
football.
but there's more dedication, more time spent on physical fitness in football and sports than there are just being in PE class. It's just a higher level of expectations, and commitment you got to have. That's just the way. I mean, it's serious stuff.
Doesn't
here,
make
bro.
sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Those that
I'm
want to
sorry.
achieve success.
I don't
and-
understand why you can't have both. I don't understand why you don't offer
Because
both.
here's the deal: we have both. The difference is here's PE at all levels across the nation. Boom, right there. You enter a sport in Texas, you're up here. You're getting both plus some. So don't look at it as like, oh, you're losing out. You're getting more by being in a sport in Texas.
What are you getting?
I
About,
just
about,
told you,
Tell
you're
me
getting
what you're
way-
getting.
about
What are you
10
getting?
times the PE class that you ever
Yes.
took. 10 times. 10, I guarantee you
Yes.
10 times.
Yeah.
And you're expected-
guaranteed.
Yeah.
They get up in
Yeah.
your business, too. They get into your grades, your education. If you're on a team,
Yeah, they sure do in Texas.
They get into your
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah, they really force you to get your grades up if you're going to play high school football.
No, they don't
Right.
do that.
Dude,
I
they
used
failed all
to.
the way through.
Dude,
when
they
I was
graduate
junior.
kids who go off to Oklahoma who can't even read and write.
I'm not
So-
saying that they don't. Hey, listen.
You just
all I-
said they
hold
care
on, let
about
me-
your
let me-
grades.
They do
You-
care about grades. I ain't saying they help you get there. They might walk and talk to the teacher about it, but they do care about your grades because there's no pass, no play.
They don't care about your
Hold on,
grades.
no, stop. Let's stop. They care
Texas
about your
high
grades.
school football cares about grades.
Let
That's
me
your
finish.
contention.
Let me finish.
That is your contention.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let me say my reason. They care about the grade. I don't care. They care if you know how to, if you earn the grade, but they care about the grade.
No, I failed and I still got to play.
Really?
They'll,
Okay.
They'll fudge the. They'll
They
fudge
had
the
a thing
numbers.
called no pass, no play.
Yeah, even when I was there. But when you're,
But when
But
you're good,
did your
No,
report
they let
card
you
say you
pass.
failed, or did you fail and they let you
Oh,
pass?
no, if it showed that I failed, but they found a way to let me play. Like they made sure.
Well,
they'll make sure that you can play. The coaches only care about that.
Keyword here is they care about your grades because you're not supposed to be able to play if you get an
Yeah.
F. So they care about your grades. I'm not saying
they
they
just
care if
don't
you
care about you.
They don't care if you know how to speak or write or anything, maybe, but
They
they,
don't
but,
care.
but they
No.
care about the grade.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. It is the PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, for a Wednesday afternoon. Brandon Sunbrew is here. We've also got Jimmy Ryan. We'll come back. We'll talk about the incident in South Dallas last night. That was exciting TV to watch. I don't know why more of the local coverage didn't go uninterrupted, They were breaking in. I was forced to watch updates on what was happening on WFAA.com.
Oh, were you not watching like all the streams that they were running?
Well, that's what I was forced to do.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do anything.
weren't
on
down
TV.
there?
Course, that's so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, like the things that you could see down on the ground, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, good. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that because I was watching some of that too. But I actually hoped that it was a big enough local story that they would have rolled into the 7 o'clock hour with extended live news coverage, and they didn't. They just pushed everybody off to their
The
.com.
bar live was live in there. The broadcaster. We'll talk to him a little bit.
The what?
Smitty, he was down there live.
Who's
Broadcast.
Smitty?
The bar live on the
Our new on the scene guy.
reporter.
Of course.
All right. Very
Yeah,
good.
we'll get him in here to talk about it. He
Sure.
was down there.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got a whole bunch to get to today. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, for a Wednesday afternoon on the BarLiveDallas.com.
Yeah, I lived 5 miles.
Sure enough.
It's the Bar Live, Dallas.com, PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Tuesday afternoon. Jimmy Ryan's here. Brandon of the Sunbrew Summer Beach House, where we are out on location today. We're on location every day now. We're just wherever it is where we do the show. That's the ease of doing podcasting. We can do it absolutely anywhere at a moment's notice. I don't know why we're not out in the hood today. We should be set up at that. I saw a perfectly, I'm sure that the beer and wine and liquor store that the news media was camped out in front of yesterday, I'm sure that has internet access. We could go there. We could be doing the show right now. Why don't we do that? Why don't we take the Y&R guys? Let's make them do the show from there.
Oh, the
Come on.
three whitest guys on radio.
Let's load them up. Let's put them down there. Come on. I'm
all for it.
I won't be attending. You guys can go. All right, what we're talking about is this big to-do that occurred yesterday in South Dallas. I'll run you down the story if you're not familiar with it. Police shot and killed a man in South Dallas on Tuesday, prompting a tense situation with hundreds of angry, emotional neighbors. Well, there were a lot of angry, emotional cops, too. I saw 200, they said. 200 police responded to this thing. The shooting happened around 5:30 p.m. at a known drug house in the 5300 block of Bourquoin Street, while, according to Dallas Police Chief David Brown, police were responding to a kidnapping call. Brown said 4 suspects fled the house via various means, including by breaking windows. He said officers saw a gun on a table in the house and that crack cocaine was also present. According to Brown, 8-year DPD veteran Officer Brian Rowden chased James Harper, fighting the suspect on 3 different occasions. Rowden was losing the fight and was exhausted when, according to Brown, Harper said, "You're going to have to kill me." Rowden feared for his life and fatally shot Harper, according to Chief Brown. Word of the shooting quickly spread through the neighborhood as family members and the curious rushed to the scene, eventually amassing in the hundreds and prompting police to call for additional crowd control, including SWAT. In fact, officers armed with pepper ball guns and shields forced the crowd back amid reports of people trying to cut through fences to gain access to the shooting scene. The slain man's inconsolable mother and enraged father confronted police and media at the scene. Both said their 31-year-old son was unarmed and fleeing police when he was shot in the back. "No reason for him to be shot like a dog if he's running away from them. Ain't no reason," James White said. However, Chief Brown downplayed that possibility. "We don't believe any of the family members witnessed anything," Brown said, adding that family members make similar claims on almost every shooting. He said he thought Harper might have been shot in the abdomen and hand. Still, the chief admitted that several questions remained about whether or not Harper may have been armed when he was killed. "We're also not able to find a gun that Mr. Harper possessed," Chief Brown said. "We do not have a gun." The chief also said he was not certain that any of the responding officers, including Rowden, were even fired upon. This is going to be complicated.
Yeah.
According to Chief Brown, Harper, the victim, has a lengthy criminal record that includes multiple charges of drug possession and manufacturing, assault, evading arrest, and more. Well, I'd like to know what the more are, because multiple charges of drug possession and manufacturing, that's not the kind of crime that I think you get shot for. That's not a violent crime.
No, not at all.
That's you're selling drugs, okay? Not a violent crime. Some righteous folks would make the argument that you're selling to my 13-year-olds outside their school. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's selling to other crackheads in that neighborhood. He's not hanging out at the Galleria in the food court selling to teenagers.
Not saying he's a great person.
No.
Yeah, most
no,
likely
he's a
not.
scumbag.
Yeah,
he's a
but-
total scumbag. Certainly.
Well, assumed.
No, he's a scumbag. He's a crack
likely,
dealer
yeah.
in the hood who's running from cops. It's a scumbag. You can do a lot less in my book and have the title of scumbag.
I like to go
on
with
you.
assumed innocent until proven guilty. Go ahead.
Well, he's dead. So there is
Yeah.
no proving guilty or anything like that. He's dead. Look, let's put it this way. We're not in any risk of not curing cancer now. okay? This guy was not going to contribute anything to society. This guy was a bad dude. Everybody in this house was a bad dude. Now, were they violent criminals who needed to be killed? I don't know. I think they probably all needed to be locked up, though. I mean, I would not have. Did you see all of the people that gathered?
Yeah.
What a scary group of people. I mean, what a scary gathering of
What
folks.
was actually scary? But the clothes they were wearing?
Yeah. Did you see
The
all the
white
gangbanger-looking dudes? Oh my God! It was like I thought it was going to be a gangbanger war against cops.
Now, hold on.
It was frightening.
I watched Americans Got Talent. They kept interrupting every 20 minutes with the update.
Oh, good. So NBC
And
locally was interrupting. Good.
So basically, I'll tell you what I saw. I saw people dressed like you would dress if you didn't have a lot of money in that neighborhood, which I commonly, just so you know, wore baggy pants and a Hanes white T-shirt all the time when I lived over there. That's just what I wore. Period.
And you looked like a criminal.
And I was not a gangbanger.
But
I
you
was a
looked like
criminal.
a criminal.
But
you were a criminal.
I was a criminal, but I was far from the look of a criminal. You'd never look at me and thought I was a criminal. It's just what I wore. It was a cheap T-shirt, costed $3. It was comfortable and it looked cool, and that's what we wore. It didn't mean you're a gangbanger. I saw the videos you're talking about. Women were wearing dresses. They were clothed well, and men were just casually dressed. It's a freaking 96 degrees outside.
Clothed well.
That means they had
Clothed well.
like the women had dresses on that were nice.
If you're really going to argue with me about what a scary person looks like, then this conversation is going to go nowhere, because I think we can all assume that we know what a scary person looks like. We know what someone is probably going to be wearing if we're going to be confronted by a scary dude in an alley. Right?
Now, what I
mean,
noticed was that there were some people that might have been of color over there. Is that what you're talking about?
Of color. They're all black. It's a black neighborhood. What do you mean some people of
So
color?
that's what
the
scared
only,
you?
The only white
Okay.
people were the cops. I mean, that's the only
Right.
white people that were out there.
A lot of black cops there. So you were scared about the darkness?
No, there wasn't a lot of black cops because I was counting. I was
were
trying,
you?
yeah, I was trying to see what the I would think that you might want to send all your off-duty African American cops to the area where the craziness is happening, just because it would be a smarter move.
Well, and you also had
But no, they didn't. There was a lot of white cops.
And even arrogant white cops sitting at the front. And for some
the worst
reason,
white cops.
yeah, they were pushing everybody back further and further out of their own neighborhood, which is already infuriating.
Did you see the big hillbilly cop with the pepper spray gun that you started firing the pepper spray gun on the ground, and then two other big white cops had to get in his face like, dial it back, dude.
Oh my God, no,
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It was like he was. All right, here's what he was. He was probably. This is the cop, dude. Okay, picture this guy. Probably about 45. Okay, spends every last minute in the gym, always pumping iron. You know, he's built like a fire plug. He's about 5'9". So he's got like the little man, big badass
Napoleon
thing.
syndrome.
He's got the buzz cut, the military buzz cut, in the sunglasses on, the dark sunglasses, and he's walking in line with all these other cops. Now, some of the cops have AR-15s. Some of the cops have
he's still big enough that if they ever need to get a cat out of a tree, they're like, "Hey, go ahead,
Get your
'Cause it's
pepper
still
gun.
Small.
Get your pepper gun, tough guy. So this tough guy who didn't have the AR-15, he was like the guy that got the pepper gun. There were a couple dudes that got these paintball guns. They're paintball guns, and they
Yes,
fire
they are.
pepper bombs. Basically, it's supposed to make it hard to breathe and stuff, so people back up. So this is the guy who, when they're handing out the weapons, we're gonna give you the pepper one. they gave like you don't get the real gun, because you know what, you're and then they were right, because this guy immediately started firing the pepper bullets into the ground at the feet of the people that they were trying to move back, and two other Dallas cops immediately got in his face, physically put the gun down and like started talking to him, and then he just kind of put his gun down and didn't say anything. So they were obviously superior officers.
Now, what we don't know, though, I heard part of it, but very little, is if you're there and you're a cop, now let's just picture the kind of day
Scary.
There you go. Let's picture the kind of day you had the day before. You got screwed over by some people that got away with murder or a crime. You're pissed off at the world. You're around negative stuff all day long. Yeah. You're dealing with people that are the worst people in society, okay?
Yeah.
Constantly.
Why are they the
You're
worst
getting
people in
bitched
society?
at.
Because they're black?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you said that
general,
to me. You brought
cops
the race
deal
up
with
to
criminals.
me.
Criminals are the worst people in
But
society.
in this particular case, why
I
are
didn't say
these
this
the
case.
worst
I said
people?
the day before. I didn't say.
It says in your iPhone.
Hold on. Did I not say the day before? I go the day before he was dealing with. I didn't say where he was at.
You did. In
My
fairness, you
point
did.
is, these guys are constantly dealing with the worst people in society. Criminals, not blacks, not whites. Criminals. Okay, let's put them in that category. It's got to be frustrating when you're in a situation, and something tragic happened that you didn't do, by the way, because the guy obviously is not the one that shot and killed the guy. That guy's hidden somewhere right now. But you're getting yelled at for being a cop because you're down there because there was a drug house.
Officer
and you're
Rowden
taking the
has
blunt
been,
of all
hold
the.
on. Oh, you said where he is. Officer Rowden was immediately removed from the scene and put on administrative leave. Nobody knows where he is. This is not because of the shooting. This is just something that happens. It's a matter of course whenever an officer discharges his weapon. So,
Which is because of the shooting. But anyway, so the thing is that guy, I mean, I'm not trying to defend the guy, but it's got to be a tough job when you take so much abuse, verbal abuse, and we all know there was something wrong going on. I mean, that's why they were there.
yeah.
So, like I said, I get it, kind of the cops' frustration, but I get the people's frustration. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to take
I
some
don't
of that.
get the people's frustration. I don't. I lived in. I'm from the south side of Chicago, dude. I have seen some bad stuff go down blocks from where I grew up, and you know what? It's the people that don't take care of their neighborhoods. Because there are also neighborhoods in the south side of Chicago that are well taken care of. And it's not because the community makes any money. They're all still in the same economic boat. But there are just certain communities that have leaders in that community that clean up the stuff.
I totally get that, but somebody who they all know and loved, whether he was good or bad, was just shot in the back, and
He wasn't shot in the back. Where are you getting that? The police.
That's what they're saying.
No,
Let's go with what they're being told. Let's go with what they're thinking from it. Let's be devil's advocate.
Okay.
The people think he was shot running away. That's what they think.
Okay, but the chief of police
That's
has
fine
said
with-
that he was shot in the abdomen and in the hand.
Which, as I heard,
Okay.
could have been an exit wound, which I'm not saying it is.
Okay.
Let's play devil's advocate. The people were mad. Johnny, their neighbor, who they grew up watching, because you never leave those neighborhoods. A lot of people have grown up there their whole life,
Yeah.
okay? They've known this kid for 30, 20 years, whatever, okay? He just got shot. The mama said, shot him in the back. You're going to be pissed, okay? And you know what? They're pissed. It's 100 degrees outside yesterday. They're pissed off.
Yeah.
They're already poor. They don't like their situation, and they need a reason to be mad at the man, and that's what they're doing, okay? You get it? That's what happened. Now,
Right, but
when
I'm
they
not-
come out and find out he was shot in the front, if he was, then yeah, they're going to calm down a little bit, and they're already calming down maybe a little. But my point is, you get where they're at, though, a little bit. They just had their neighbor shot, and then, of course, it starts fueling the fire. Everyone else gets like, screw the man, and it just gets out of hand.
Yeah, maybe in like some neighborhoods, but I mean, like, to be totally honest, this is a neighborhood where you had crack dealers sitting in a house. You always know, like, if there's a pot dealer who lives across from you, he might get away with it because he doesn't make it as obvious. Crack dealers, you know, especially if they're making crack across
It's
the
because
street.
crackheads are obvious.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean, it makes
a
it-
guy buying a bag of weed could look like a guy delivering a summons.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
but a crackhead shows up to the front door. It's obvious what he is.
Right.
And in this neighborhood where this is going on and it's so obvious, not a single normal person called the cops. Another crackhead called the cops as a joke. That's what caused this entire thing.
Yeah.
Hold on,
was-
y'all know that?
We should
Yeah.
talk about that. Yeah, how it started. What happened was, this is what the police believe. The police believe that a competing crack dealer called 911 on this particular crack house and claimed that someone had been kidnapped and dragged into the home. They described him as a small Hispanic man that was being dragged into the home by 4 black men. Police, hearing a kidnapping call, they mount up. They get the posse together and they invade. And they rip into that house and they find the gun and they find crack. They never found anybody that was kidnapped. But as they were raiding the house, all the people inside ran. So, you know, it's like running in different directions. So this one cop chased this one guy. By the way, I haven't heard about, did any of the other cops catch the other guys? Or is this the only, did they all get away except one died?
Looking at the physical state of most Dallas police officers, I would say that they all got away.
I want to see this Rowden guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is actually something that I've heard mentioned a lot. We used to talk about it in Chicago because the Chicago cops were all obese. They're all just giant fat guys. Unless you're like a 25-year-old cop.
I guess they didn't go to PE.
No, they're just, oh, please. Oh, yeah, because Dallas cops are any better?
I'm just saying.
I'm just simply saying an
Hey.
argument. There was an
on.
argument that wanted the police to have to pass stricter physical fitness tests. I mean, you couldn't be a 280-pound, 6-foot cop sitting in your car writing tickets every day.
Right.
Because you weren't going to chase anybody. You had a big fat load. You know, it's please. You're doing more damage to the community than anything else. And that got shot down by the unions. Union says that's
unbelievable.
not fair. If a cop wants to be 400 pounds and can't run, that's fine.
I mean, he's not there to save you or anything.
No,
that's
he's
not
not.
what he's there for.
He's just there to write tickets. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm very pro cop, but I would
Yeah.
like to see my cops
Yeah.
young, and at least the ones on the street. Maybe they shouldn't be on the street after 35. You know, maybe they should all just be young and in shape, and
Right.
and everybody else let them go file paperwork.
Now, with
Unless
this,
you can pass some very tough physical fitness standards.
If you can stay up with everybody else, you know. Did they say why he went right for the gun and not for the taser?
No. There's really not a whole lot of details about the shooting. The chief of police, David Brown himself, he says he's not even sure. I mean, he believes he was shot in the stomach and the hand. But that was at the press conference last night. I'm sure there's more known now.
Because shouldn't that be the number one thing that you do? Go for the taser? Because that's going to make it to where they can't do anything anyway.
Did he shoot the guy because he was getting his ass kicked? I mean,
Now, here's what I heard. I heard a press conference a while ago when I was out there, and I talked to Smitty. Smitty was down there live on the scene last night for most of the coverage, and he doesn't want to talk about it on air. There's been threats. So, but what
Smitty,
I heard,
our chief ghetto correspondent, has been
yeah,
frightened.
he was down there. There was threats. Basically, he's just trying to keep quiet, and he's telling me stuff behind the scenes. Yes, what I did hear on the conference and through
Smitty's
Smitty
running
was
around
that
right now. He's standing in front of some liquor store / lottery ticket place, wearing a white T-shirt with black Sharpie marker that just says media,
he's incognito.
so that nobody targets him.
He basically though
I'm here to tell your story, man. I'm Smitty.
the Black Panther, Dwayne Caraway got down there pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
and he's the greatest beacon of hope. But
Caraway was also on Fox News last night. He went straight from the scene right to the studio on Fox News.
we had some comments from Caraway. They were trying to get everyone together to a local church to have a meeting about what's going on. The Black Panther Party's involved now. They're down there trying to get some stuff done.
It's the new Black Panther Party.
The new Black Panther Party.
Not to be confused with the old one. Has nothing to do with
Smitty
the
reported a
old one.
while ago around noon that basically what he was told was that a reverend, there are always reverends involved in the community.
Well, these are the guys that are supposed to keep the lid on their community. These reverends. A lot of these guys just do piss poor jobs.
Reverend made a comment. I wish I could get this, if I can get this footage. The Reverend kind of made a comment like, yeah, they're doing some kind of little Black Panther meeting party about what's going on. But we're going to talk about this right now. He kind of dissed the other people meeting about what's going on. It was kind of funny. But he said,
well, sure, because everybody wants to be the main guy. Everybody wants to be, hosting the meeting. So
he goes, we're going to go ahead and start without everybody. They're not all here. The victims aren't here. We're going to start, though. He goes, but what's funny is, or not funny, but what he said was that basically the police are saying that there was a struggle. The cop felt threatened for his life. So if you and I are hand to hand, obviously I could see where the gun would come out versus the taser. But if you're 20 feet away, I have no business killing you, okay, if you're running. You know what I mean? Their biggest argument was if the cop felt so threatened for his life, why didn't he just cease and desist? Why didn't he just stop what he's doing and wait for backup to get there? If you feel like you're about to die, why pull out a gun and kill an armed man? I dig the point. I like it. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to get around whatever happened.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
The only
should
case
just stop chasing. We do this with car chases now.
Now
when they start to get out of control, the cops are expected to back off the car chase.
When your car got broken into, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, that dude knew what he was doing. The big fat guy.
Here's my point, though, where I will defend what happened, okay, and play devil's advocate.
Well, who are you defending and who are you playing devil's advocate
for? I'm going to play devil's advocate. I think the cop's wrong. But if the cop was pursuing the suspect, they got into a confrontation, hand-to-hand, we're at each other, and I felt like I was getting my ass whipped, then I could see where the natural instinct would be, use your gun. I get that, okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
If the cop was getting beat up...
That's the only way I can see excusing what happened of using a gun on this thing, because your brain starts going 90 miles an hour and you have a gun right there in your pocket, right there on you, and you're getting your ass beat.
Yeah, but see, this is you saying your brain going 90 miles an hour. This is what we trust. We can trust our police officers to be trained to react responsibly in these kind of situations.
Feel like I'm getting my ass beat and about to get killed, I'm using my gun.
Right. If he was getting his ass beat, and he felt that there was no way out of it for him, that this guy was going to do some real damage, he's a cop. He's a cop in pursuit of a suspect. He shot him. It's an ugly situation, but it's not cold-blooded. It's not. This guy shouldn't have been beating up a cop. The minute the cop went down to the ground, the guy should have just used that as an opportunity to get a couple of steps on him and been, across a couple of more fences and gone.
Here's what I love about
it. That's the proper way to strike an officer, is to strike and run.
Put him down.
Yeah.
If you're going to hit an officer, make sure you put him down and that he's dazed for a couple of minutes.
Yes.
That's it, and then just get out of there.
This is your time.
Here's what's interesting to me, though, okay? Smitty told me that when he's down there, it appeared at one time there was over 30 police vehicles down there, okay? Now, I was watching the crowd from television.
30, there was more than that on TV. They had 200 officers, so that's...
okay. Well, they brought the riot squad. They might have came in a bus. But it looked at one point that there was, for every citizen, there was an officer. And some of the videos...
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's why it was so frightening, because it was all... And the officers themselves, it wasn't like there was a line of demarcation. It was just... The officers, like say there was 50 officers in a row, all with their riot gear and their riot shields, and they were moving forward, it's not like they were pushing the crowd back into any particular area because the crowd wasn't only in front of them. The crowd was on the sides of them. The crowd was behind them.
There was groups, little pockets of 3 here, 10 there, 7 here.
These cops were. I mean, this could have gotten. This is why it was such compelling television to watch, because it could have gotten so out of control, and it didn't. Thankfully, the people of that area kept a lid on it. Thankfully, the cops kept a lid on it. And we saw the police policing themselves with that jughead that was firing the pepper spray into the ground. And 2 cops had to go, hey, wait, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to start a riot? Why don't you just back off?
I think that the whole way that they went about it, though, was just the wrong way. And, it just doesn't seem like... The crime scene was a crime scene that you created in a backyard. That's basically what's happened here. So you need to make sure that you can watch over the crime scene, and that's the only reason why you need to be there. There's no need to bring in 200 officers and court off the entire...
I disagree entirely.
I disagree.
Listen, I grew up...
Here's what was happening. The community.
It's an act of aggression.
The community was trying to take over the crime scene. The
Yes.
family was trying to get to the body.
I'm saying block off the crime scene, make it very small. What they were doing is expanding and making it an act of aggression. That's the reason why these
took
people are
over the
getting angry.
neighborhood.
Let me say something real fast. And Jimmy, I want you to just visualize this with me, okay? All right. Let's go over your theory here, okay?
Hold on, we need a break. Let's do this. Let's think on this. It's 1 o'clock. We need to take a quick break here. We'll come back. We'll talk more about the South Dallas shooting last night. Cops, hoodlums. Oh my God, it's pretty interesting, pretty scary. Is it over though? I mean, I guess that's the thing. Is it over?
No,
I guess
it's not
we're gonna
over,
find out more.
When we come back, we'll discuss. I want to talk to Jimmy about what we just said, though. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of ramping it up.
Yeah.
All right. I know it's not over. We're gonna talk about it more.
Oh, it's not over on TV either, though.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Wednesday afternoon on thebarlivedallas.com. It's the BarLiveDallas.com PMS The Pugs Moran Show for a Wednesday afternoon. By my side, we've got Brandon from the Sun Brew. That's right, the Sun Brew Summer Beach House is where we broadcast from today. Jimmy Ryan is here as well. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, man.
All right, we're going to get into a couple. Do you know what we're going to do today? And I want you to be ready for this because we haven't done it since we did it and we got a good response from it. So I thought this could be a good bit.
Okay.
I want you to pull up Drudge Report. We're going to go over Drudge Report again today in the last half hour. And we're going to figure out all kinds of. We're just going to pick and choose stories. Okay. Sort of our trip around the globe. See what's going on there. All right, we're still talking about the story that happened yesterday, the big police confrontation with neighbors there in southeast Dallas. Officer Rowden, Brian Rowden, I believe was his name, yes. Officer Brian Rowden discharged his weapon, killing James German Harper. And they're now going with a middle name, so his other James Harpers don't feel like they're dead. James German Harper was shot. Now, people on the scene are saying that he was shot in the back as he ran from the cop. The cop's official report says, no, that's not the case at all. I chased him through a couple of yards. We went over a couple of fences. We were fighting the whole time. At one point, he knocked me to the ground and said, you're going to have to kill me. And that's when basically he was shot. Now, I don't understand that. Jimmy, let me ask you, I don't understand the relevance of them making it public that the victim supposedly said, you're going to have to kill me. So is that like permission?
Right.
Supposed to be for the officer to say, all right, I'm going to kill you. I mean, I don't really understand why that would be made public or why that's relevant.
It sounds a lot like a story of somebody who just shot somebody and needs a story. To be honest,
I mean,
that's what it sounds like.
It's a very grain of salt, but it's there. That's something. If it was said, it kind of like he said to kill him. You know, it's not excusable.
People on the scene.
But it lets you know the extent of what this person's willing to do to get away.
Here's the latest. Dallas police are no longer a big presence in South Dallas neighborhood where an angry resident gathered after an officer-involved shooting Tuesday afternoon. The medical examiner released the name of the suspect shot and killed by police early Wednesday morning. He's 31 years old, James German Harper. Police are investigating how and why he was shot to death by Officer Brian Rowden. The official word from DPD is that officers responded to a kidnapping call to a known drug house. The kidnapping turned out to be bogus, but officers saw a large amount of drugs and a gun in the house and saw suspects running away. Officer Rowden took off running after James Harper, leaping over 3 fences and fighting hand-to-hand. This according to Chief David Brown. The suspect said, you're going to have to kill me, and the officer, fearing for his life, shot Harper. Neighbors and family members say they understand the story went differently and that Rowden shot Harper in the back. A local minister claims cell phone videos support that.
Wow.
All right. So if the local minister has cell phone video, we're going to see it today.
Right.
Today would be the day that it would come out. It would come out tonight, the 5 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news. It'll be the big story. I've seen nothing about this.
Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
Because, and this is a lot of these ministers, and it seems to be like a lot of the ones that are more of the Southern gospel, like the Al Sharpton types. He's building it up. Whoever this minister is, and I'm stereotyping here, but let's just say that he is one of those kind of guys, like the guy on TV a while ago that was like, let's just go ahead and starve out everybody else and get this show going. He wants to get his minute in the fame. You know, he's got something that everyone wants to see, so he's going to build up the hype, and then he's going to release it, and he's going to get all the glory for it. If he gave it to the cops last night, it'd be done. He wouldn't have got any of the hype about it. It'd been out there, but who shot the video? Nobody know. He's holding it.
I don't believe that there is any video.
There may not be, but if he does have the video, that's why we haven't seen it yet.
Although if there is video, we will see it. We have to see it. I mean, they're going to try and before this story runs its news cycle, and it will. We'll all stop paying attention to it. I mean, you got to get it while the cameras are there. So.
Well, I want to address something Jimmy said a while ago.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy, you said, why do we not keep it contained just to the house? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's why we don't do that, okay? If we had left...
Are you now on the Dallas Police
Yeah,
Force?
I'm a citizen.
Okay.
I'm a citizen. I've tried to make some arrests of some drunk drivers at night.
He's speaking as a white person.
Yes.
This is what he's doing.
I'm from the neighborhood, dude. Listen, so... Here's the problem.
Yeah,
okay?
I noticed the Sun Brew Summer Beach House isn't located there. So you got out of the neighborhood.
But so here's the deal. If we'd done that, what happened is you'd only have first of all, that house can only hold so many cops. Let's say 20 cops on the scene, okay? And if we contained it to that house, people would have been gathering around. And what would have happened is it would have got bigger and bigger and bigger. What the cops did that was smart was they kept people kind of separated, okay? By doing that, there's less, the anger's going to build less. If you put 20 people together, then 30 and 40, they're getting mad.
Oh,
They're all feeding off each other.
Mob mentality.
But if you keep them separated, that's less likely to happen. It can still happen, but it's less likely. They needed those cops spreading people out. They needed people not congregating because there's always going to be someone mad, being boisterous.
I think you're right. If you've got 300 people angry and protesting, you don't want 300 people in a pool together. You want 100.
Right.
You want 100 people over here. You want 30 over there. You want 20 over there. Yeah,
they'll separate, and you don't have one person getting the whole mob riled up.
Yeah, you don't want all 300 of them doing one thing at the same time.
That's right.
Which is charging cops.
And I'll tell you, that would have been very for 10 cops to be there on the scene or 20, whatever, and you have 300 people. That's dangerous for those guys. They're done. They're in trouble.
Here's what I don't understand. I just don't understand this neighborhood, man. I was watching the helicopter shots of this neighborhood. I was watching the cameras on the ground of this neighborhood. How the hell do these people live like that? How the hell do these people think that is an appropriate way to live and raise your children?
Let me tell you exactly how because when I grew up off Saint Road, okay? It's, in fact, where that is, you could shortcut from point A to B with my house, and I'd be 4 miles away from where that was, okay? And that neighborhood is one of those things where a lot of people grow up there, and they don't see anything but what they see their parents doing. And a lot of them don't strive for success. They don't try to be bigger and better. And they're content.
They don't have lawns. I mean, most of them, it's not that they don't cut their lawns. They don't even have lawns.
You park cars in front of your house by the window so people don't steal it. But the thing about it is they just don't see any difference, man. There's a time in my life where, for a while, hell, I thought about buying a house in Pleasant in that area. You know what I'm saying? And like, oh, I'll buy this big house. It'll be cool. Never thought about making real money. I never knew how to get there. My dad doesn't make $100,000 a year. He worked his ass off all the time.
You know, I've made this comment, and this is just like an anthropologist. I'm just making a simple observation. I live in a very strange area. Okay, one side of the neighborhood that I live in is very nice. It's Greenway Estates. It's Highland Park. It's very nice. That's one side. That's if you walk 1 block to the west of where I am. If you walk 1 block to the north of where I am, it's a Hispanic neighborhood. It is all Hispanic families. It is families. That's what it is. It's a Hispanic working class families. Walk to the south of where I am, and it's the same thing as the Hispanics, except it's black. It's all black families. And it's not mixed. It's not like there's a Hispanic family in one house and a black family in the next and then a white family. No, it's not. It's all black in one neighborhood, all Hispanic in the other, and then all wealthy white people in the other. Now, there is a difference between these 3 neighborhoods. Let's eliminate the wealthy white people because we know what that is. It's a bunch of 1%ers living in Highland Park.
The only place you can actually ride a bike and get pulled over.
Yeah.
That's I've actually had that happen
in
before.
Highland Park, you get pulled over on a bike?
On a bicycle.
They asked you to leave the neighborhood?
Just because. Saw you riding through here.
Jeez, you're a white guy.
Need any help?
Yeah. You would think they'd let a white guy on a bike go through.
Yeah, I'm just going straight through, going to the Katy Trail, and I got pulled over. 2 cops even.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
Must have been the shoes he's wearing.
Yeah, seriously, that's ridiculous. Right. So my point is, we'll eliminate the wealthy white people from the Highland Park equation, and let's just compare the 2 similar neighborhoods, the Mexican neighborhood and the black neighborhood. One of those neighborhoods is so much nicer than the other one. Do you want to take a guess as to which one it is?
Oh, it's absolutely the Hispanic.
Why is that? Why is it that lower income Hispanic people take way better care of their neighborhood than low income black people?
Because they come from...
And I'm just asking questions. This is an observation.
From my experience growing up and who I've met and what I've been around, these people are so happy to be in the USA to work and work hard. And a lot of them do support family members that are over in Mexico. And they understand the value of a dollar, and they are so appreciative.
Their homes are painted.
They're very appreciative, and they're very respectful. And they're very prideful. They're prideful of work ethics.
Is it an American dream thing? Is it the Mexican immigrant is still buying into the American dream, whereas the African American who has been here doesn't really have an American dream because they're just sort of...
There's a lot of discipline within the Hispanic community with families too, by the way, about respecting your family, your mothers, for instance. A lot of respect there. And you don't really backtalk as much, and that for whatever reason, and that's what it boils down to. These people work hard. They respect the dollar and they work hard for it.
Jimmy, do you agree? Have you noticed this? Have you noticed that lower income Hispanic neighborhoods are far aesthetically nicer than lower income black neighborhoods?
I guess I would just attribute it kind of to what you were saying, like where
it's the American dream. They're proud of what they have.
I would imagine that you're just like closer to a relative who is going to put you back in your place and say, you don't realize how good you have it. You know what I mean? Like, whereas even my family, I never got that spiel. You know, I'm 3 generations away from my, great grandfather who moved here. You know what I mean? So, like, I would imagine if you're a little bit more aware of that, then you're probably going to pressure yourself a little bit more. Whereas if you start out in a really low income area and you're taught that this is where you're going to end up basically dying as well in a low income situation. Yeah, I mean, especially now. I think that, right now you got a generation.
Hispanics look to be constantly working their way up, don't they? I mean, it appears Hispanics who you see cutting your lawn, 10 years from now, they're going to own a lawn cutting service. Hell, they may have tanker trucks with ChemLawn stuff in it. They may build something.
Right.
That's the Latino dream.
In all fairness, also, I should throw this out there. There is the white version of the ghetto, which is like the rednecks, and it's just as bad.
Of course there is.
That's where you got to be worried about a dog biting you and taking your arm off, or or attacking, getting rabies.
Oh yeah, no. But we're talking specifically about the neighborhood I live in.
Okay,
we don't have a white trash Appalachia sort of trailer park. But you were absolutely right.
The white trash can be as bad as any ghetto out there, if not worse. It's scarier.
I got a flat tire on my way to Virginia Beach once. A flat tire happened in Appalachia. I would never been more scared in my life. I had a car overheat in front of the Robert Taylor homes, which was a big project on the south side of Chicago. I wasn't as freaked out there as I was in Appalachia with a blown tire.
Wow. That's saying something.
No, yeah. No, it was no. So your point is well made. But we're not talking about. We're talking specifically about where I live, where I sit and I look at my balcony and I look to the south and I see an African American neighborhood which has fallen down, fallen apart. Dogs are running around in the street. They let their dogs go everywhere. It's just insane. And then I look to the north and I see the Hispanic area, same exact houses, same exact price point. But one neighborhood is so much nicer.
They're very prideful. And if you look at everything about the Hispanic community, what I respect is, I'm not trying to say I respect the gangs, but let's be real here. They're more successful with their gangs. They're like all that kind of stuff. It's just done at a higher level.
What do you mean more successful with their gangs?
Well, their gangs are definitely more respected. There's less snitching going on in the Hispanic gangs than the other gangs out there, the other societies. They've grown stronger. They've done things better, and there's just a lot of it comes down to respect and work ethics.
To be fair, I did see on CNBC that they were pulling in great profits, and that people needed to start investing in their
Hispanic gangs.
Yeah, in Hispanic gangs if they really want to get the bang for their buck.
They take it to heart, man. They take their work ethics to heart.
Let's talk about something that you mentioned, and maybe this is culturally speaking, is the family in a Latino family more important and more involved than a family in an African American community? In other words, let me put it to you this way. All right, let me ask you this. Is it more likely, take a Hispanic Mexican American family and an African American family, okay? Family. Is it more likely that the father will be present in the Mexican household or in the African American household?
Hispanic. And I'm going to tell you something I grew up
It's true,
saying.
Right? Dads stay.
Yeah.
What I'm
Hispanic
about to say is
dads
going to
stay.
sound racist, but it's just the way it was.
No bigot.
And I learned this at a young age. And, when you're fighting growing up, I grew up in an area, there's a mixture of a lot of things going on. But I'll tell you one thing. We learned this at an early age. And I watched this happen to one of my friends one time. He goes, man, you got to fight. We're white, so you got to fight a black or a Hispanic. Which one do you want to fight? The black. You fight the Hispanics, dude, you're fighting their entire family. It will never stop. And I'm tasting that. The best example I have, I won't say the guy's name, but I watched these little Hispanic guys come. I went to a private school till 8th grade, and we're in the same neighborhood. There's a group of little Hispanic kids that came through there, brothers, younger than me, okay, not much, but younger. And dude, one of my friends got into it with them, dude. Those little dudes were like warriors that were trained to help each other out. My buddy started fighting one of them.
So family is important.
My buddy started fighting one of them, and they started. I mean, he started, but they jumped on him.
Yeah.
And boy, let me tell you something. One would hit him, he'd hit him, and the other one attack him. Well, they were like trained freaking ninjas. And I was so impressed. Like, holy cow, that little brother didn't think twice about jumping on him.
I don't want to fight a black guy or a Hispanic guy. I don't want to fight in general. But your point is well made that there is more of a sense of family.
Oh, yeah. You deal with
La
one, you're dealing with
familia.
all of them.
Yeah. The Hispanics love the family. They love the family unit. They support one another. Maybe that's why. I don't know, but I was just struck at this neighborhood. I've never been to this neighborhood in Dallas. I've lived here over 10 years. I didn't even know it existed. I had no idea. I mean, and then to see these helicopter shots. I mean, is this the roughest part of town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the worst. It's the ghetto of Dallas.
Yes.
Which is why that when I was saying that they needed to
It's
make
hardcore.
They needed to have less people out there is mainly what I was trying to say. Really, the
Less
act of
cops?
aggressing. Yeah, I mean, really, this area, it's a lot like. I would say that you're a hypocrite if you say that we should have less people in Afghanistan and just be more pinpoint and to the point. If you want less people in Afghanistan, we should have less people in places like this too, because that's taking money, that's taking effort. We had 100 cops out there yesterday so that one cop could shoot a guy. That's what it was for.
Well, but the problem is
Wait,
this, the
200
cop
cops.
had
what did we get out of that?
But the shot happened, okay? It occurred, okay? And it did.
But,
So now,
yeah, but they already knew that it was a drug house. It was a known drug house, as they said.
But I'm saying,
what's the point?
but your point is, okay, hold on, listen. So what I'm saying is, the one thing occurred, the shooting. It shouldn't have happened, okay? But it did. So at that point, they do have to send that many cops there. Do you know that when Rodney, let me go back in history here. 20 years ago, Rodney King, we're all familiar with the case, happened. Do you know the one place in Dallas-Fort Worth that a riot happened when Rodney King happened? Right there, a block away from that stuff went down. Mm-hmm. That's the one place. I remember driving. That's how I drove home. And I was like, oh, crap, dude. I better go home. Because I was like 18 at the time, okay, or 19. And I drove down that road every day. I'm like, oh, dude, I better go a different route today. Driving through there white ain't going to be good. And that's the one place.
Driving while white.
Yeah, it ain't right if you do that on that day. Because that's the one, a block from there is where Rodney King, the rioters were in Dallas. Right there where where the house was. But they had to have those cops there because I'm going to tell you something. That's a neighborhood. You know what they said? Here's what's interesting. They said the cops reported seeing guns in the crowd. Okay, first of all, they saw guns. Did they go apprehend the people? Did they go confront them? What happened when they saw the guns? How come they saw guns? How come there wasn't something done about the guns that were in the crowd? Because they may have not been, licensed holding carriers. You know what I mean?
No, they weren't.
Okay, so that's the first thing that kind of freaked me out a little bit. Second of all, that is a place, Jimmy, that literally. I grew up having a gun. I had at times in my life I had a gun.
But you are making my point that we shouldn't have been there.
No, you should have been there. They could have. Some
Couldn't
cop
have
had
done
to be
this.
there.
All right, I used to watch The Shield. They had a strike team on The Shield. A strike team couldn't have gone in, shot the guy, got the body out in less than a half hour. They had to I guess you had a crime scene. You got to investigate that.
But
it should have been more surgical.
No, they can't do that. You have a crime scene, and it's a show of force. They just make sure they let them know there's so many of us that don't jack of us. You're taking a risk. You bring 10 guys down there. I think something would have went down yesterday, man. I think the society was looking for something to go down that they can fight against. It's hot. It's summertime.
Yeah, maybe the heat worked for us, though. It was so hot.
No, the heat works against you. The heat works against you.
Oh, I know. Heat makes people more irritable.
That's what I'm saying. So it hypes them up. So they had to be down there to keep people calm.
The cops originally
and
went there.
most of those people don't have air conditioning, I'm guessing.
Actually, a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
No, and they have the window units. When they have it, it's the window unit. A lot of people, it's the one neighborhood, and I'll end on this part. It's the one neighborhood that I always joke about when I was a kid growing up. I remember I had a car. I was like 17. I had my first car. But I remember seeing all my buddies I went to high school with. And their dates, on Friday nights, you'd see them walking with their dates to the theater. Like walking a mile. And I was like, man, there's not a girl I date that would want to walk down the road with me to go to a date to eat and stuff. And it's one of those neighborhoods where you see people walking around. I go through Pleasant Grove all the time. My grandmother still lives there. And it's interesting. You walk through, you see people on the corners everywhere. They're walking. They're everywhere. You don't see that in my neighborhood unless they're jogging with their iPhone on, listening to the headphones.
Right.
That's the only time you see people walking around. That's the way it is over there.
They walk as a matter of practicality. We walk as a matter of physical
And they hang
fitness.
out. You congregate. I was part of this. We would hang out at the park. There'd be 50 of us hanging out at the park. Fights would always go down. But we hung out. You just hung out. You didn't have money. You hung out.
Yeah.
You know?
What I'm saying is that the cops break into the door. Everyone bolted. That's the story, right? When they bolted, they should have checked the house. No dead body, nobody missing. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
That's end of story.
I get you, but that's not what happened, though. The reason I'm saying you said their cops have been there.
Hold on, wait a second. It's the same thing that happens with car chases. What happens in the moment is that ego gets involved.
Right.
And how dare you run from me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to. I mean, that's what I'm afraid may have gone down. It's going to lead to a cop being frustrated and shooting a guy. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know.
But Jimmy, are you saying they shouldn't have chased them?
I'm saying that I would say that a proper police procedure, I would hope anyway, would actually say that you reach for your taser as you start running for him, and then try to take him down that way. You got 15
Did he
feet.
not have a taser?
But we
I
don't
would
know
hope that he
guys. We don't
does.
know the situation here though. We don't know they
And
were
if he
fighting
doesn't,
or they were.
again, it's on the police department. There's so many different times in this story where it turns on the police department, not on the neighborhood. So the neighborhood, yeah, if you're in a shitty situation like they are, they have every right in the world to be pissed. So yeah, it may not have looked pretty, but a lot of things aren't, and we weren't even aware of that part of the city. And I think rightfully so. They usually quarantine that area off. I bet you it's not even on the maps.
Here's what we know today. We know that this guy James Harper is a career criminal. We know that he's a bad dude. He's not a good dude. Let's not pretend like some saint has just been taken from us. He's not. He's a bad dude. The question is, what did the cop do? Did the cop do the right thing, or did the cop just get frustrated and shoot a guy because he was tired of chasing him and getting beat up by him? If that's the case, if he shot a guy because he was just tired of chasing him, now we got a problem. Now we got a real
the fact of the
problem.
matter is, if this guy had not been doing bad things, none of this would have occurred.
Well,
So
right.
it all started.
Yeah.
It's a chain reaction.
What's I'm saying about this
just goes to show you
neighborhood, man?
just
Everybody
stay out of
looked like-
drugs, stay out of crime, and you don't have to worry about these kind of things. You have to worry
Well,
about people in movie theaters.
let's
All
just put a
those
cop on
people-
every corner then in this neighborhood,
No.
right? From now on.
Yes.
Every
I say
cop-
yes.
every cop-
I'm saying
I
that
say yeah.
it
I
all
say
started.
National Guard.
What I'm
Some of
saying
these
is, it all
neighborhoods.
started where the crime occurred. If people weren't committing crimes, then the cops would have been called to that house to begin with. I'm not defending the cop. I'm just saying the problem starts where the crime began.
I don't know who to defend here. I have no idea.
Until
But it looked like
Smitty
a s-
reports back and gives me an accurate report about what actually went down. He's trying to get that cell phone from the preacher right now. When we get that footage, and we'll know how to.
All
which way
I'm
to go.
saying, if I was a cop and I was out there, I'd have been freaked out by the looks of the crowd that was amassing. I'd have been a little bit freaked out. That was a scary-looking group of people, a scary-looking group of angry people who probably don't have the facts. They're just going off of
Are you
hyperbole and provocative accounts of what happened. We don't know what happened.
You know what I was asking myself, guys, and y'all can, as I say this, think about this in your head. Here you are, you're watching TV, and you see these cops. And these cops are dealing with issues. These people are riled up, okay? At any moment, one of these people could just be crazy and pull out a gun and start shooting, okay? All right, think about this person now. Is it scary to be there? By having a camera or microphone in your hand, does that protect you in that kind of a scene? These people are right there in the middle of this. Are they protected?
You talking about the media?
Yes, the media. Are they? Is it because you have that media badge? Are you protected, or do these people want to go against them too?
I wanted to go down there, but I didn't feel like I would be safe.
You didn't feel you wouldn't.
No, I
Well,
really was going to go down there too.
I thought about doing it too. In fact, I had a friend over here and she didn't want to go down there. I was like, hey, let's go check. That's where I grew up, kind of. Let's go drive through there.
Well,
But,
in war-torn regions, and I made this joke about Smitty and his white T-shirt with Sharpie marker that says press on it, media. In war-torn regions, the press wear flak jackets that say media on the back of it. And the press gets killed all the time in war-torn areas. But the belief is that that the press is supposed to be neutral.
Hold on,
The press is supposed to just be telling the story to the world. So a lot of times the engaging parties want the story told to the world. So they don't target media. But
Right.
media gets killed all the time.
We've got breaking news from Smitty, and I need more details. I just told him. Apparently, there was a black-on-black fight that went down. So maybe some of the people protesting.
I saw it. I saw it on the
There
news.
was a fight between the people.
Yes. Yeah.
That were like, maybe one's like, calm down, stop it. They were like, screw you.
No.
He got shot. What kind of fight was it?
No, it was. Did you see it from the helicopter view?
No, I saw it actually on the ground. It
Oh,
was,
okay.
Yeah, two women that were fighting.
Oh no, it was two guys.
Oh, yeah?
This was two
This is a
guys,
different
and,
one
and the
then.
helicopter captured it, and it was two teenagers, two neighborhood kids, dudes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They got into a pretty big dust up, and it turned into something, but it quickly got stopped.
I'll tell you, I had a similar incident happen.
But
in
you know,
my
that
neighborhood.
wasn't about anything that was happening there. Those two guys fought because of something that happened last Friday, and they just happened to be in the same spot at the same time. It's not like they're both so passionate about this issue, that, it boiled over into fisticuffs. No, these guys are probably rival gang members or something who both showed up to the scene, saw each other from across the crowd, and decided, I'm going to kick that dude's ass now. That's all it was.
Just again, why are we over there then?
I don't know, man. Do we build a fence? What are we
because-
supposed to do? These are American citizens. We're supposed to help them in some way.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't look like they want their neighborhood to be any better off than it is.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
like,
sad is there's people there that actually do, and they're so old and they just grew
Mm-hmm.
up there, but they are. A lot of people are accepting of the way of life, and they use the crutch of, well, we're repressed, we're held down, and of course, we all know that I'm an Indian, and I've had my struggles, and I use that from time to time in my thoughts.
That's right.
But basically, that's what these people are. There are some good people there that live
Yes.
there.
I know many times
Of
when
course there are good people who live there. Of course there are. But it's, what are you saying?
when someone throws like a piece of trash out the door or out their window,
He cries.
Brandon has a single tear rolls down his eye. The struggles of an Indian.
Hey, I was there with the tribe yesterday, man. Went to Oklahoma. Yeah. But anyway,
When your Sunbrew girl wrapped up the Burger King bag and just tossed it out the window, did you just look at her with a single tear rolling down your cheek?
I had a long talk with her about that. My little Russian. Yeah, we had a talk. Well, anyway, so there's some good people there. My grandmother lives there still. And I remember staying with her for like about a week in transition from me moving from place to place. I had to stay there. I remember one night I woke up, boom, 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 the gunfire. The next night, a car. She has a little lake in front of her house. It's kind of weird. It's like across the street. Somebody stole the car and ran it right through the gate at the lake and into the lake. I mean, I'm like,
What is going on?
And I'm like, I was there for just 4 or 5 days. Like, this has been the longest reality check of what I forgot what it's like to live here. When I moved out, when my mom said it's time for you to move, my house got shot up. I was sitting there on a date, and my house goes boom, 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 boom. And my mom's like, you got to go.
Is it really as simple as these kids don't have fathers? Because I've heard
No,
it
it's
boiled
not
down to
that.
that. And I think that has a lot to do with it.
That's part of it.
I think it has a lot to do with there is no traditional family unit. So when a 15-year-old kid starts to feel like a man, he doesn't have an actual man around to say, stop being stupid, or, or grounding him.
That's part of it, but let me tell you what the problem with this area, okay? You know what? We talked about Hispanics working their ass off. They work hard, and they work hard. And some of them grow on to be very successful. You know who the star who you want to grow up and be? And I'm guilty of this. You know who I want to be? You want to grow up and be Tony Montana. You want to grow up and be a rapper. You want to grow up and be all flash, all cash, but not have to work hard for it. And that's the way I grew up too. My mindset was that way. I want to have my own business, but to get there, I'll tell you what happened one time, and I'll.
No, we got to take a break here.
Okay.
We don't have time.
That's the mindset,
I didn't
though.
grow up wanting to be Al Capone. Whereas, I guess people in other neighborhoods, I grew up wanting to be Elliot Ness, and there's a difference there about how you're raised. There is no glamour in being Capone. He died in prison of syphilis. Elliot Ness has a statue.
I said Tony Montana. I said Tony Montana, not Al Capone.
Well, I know, but I was trying to draw a larger comparison, traditionally speaking. Who was the cop that was trying to get? See, there wasn't a counterbalance to Tony Montana, so I went with Al Capone. You get that? We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, live from the Swingin' Sunbrew Summer Beach House in beautiful North Dallas, Texas. We'll be back after this on thebarlivedallas.com. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran show for a Wednesday afternoon at thebarlivedallas.com. Jimmy Ryan is here with me. Brandon's off doing some other important stuff, so we're going to go through this last segment without him. You know what we're going to do here? First of all, we need to talk about a couple of deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we need to talk about one death. Sherman Hemsley died. Any idea who Sherman Hemsley is?
I don't think so.
Dude, George Jefferson. George Jefferson.
See, if you said George Jefferson, yeah.
Sherman Hemsley is also on that show, Amen. He was awesome. George Jefferson was awesome. I don't know if you ever remember. Did you watch The Jeffersons as a kid?
Mm-mm.
Man, that was the first depiction of a black man, a black American who was a successful businessman, who
Right.
did it all on his own, who worked hard, who built something. That was the whole premise of the Jeffersons. George Jefferson started out as Archie Bunker's neighbor on All in the Family. He was the black guy that moved into the neighborhood that Archie Bunker wasn't all that keen on.
Oh, okay.
That's how he started. He owned the dry cleaning company, Jefferson Dry Cleaners. And then after he left All in the Family, he moved on up to a big penthouse in Manhattan. And that was the whole premise, that we're moving on up, moving on. He was a rich... That guy was awesome. He was funny. He was really funny. I mean, for a black guy who... There had never been any character like this on American television that depicted an African-American man as a successful businessman. And he was so funny. He was bigoted, too. George Jefferson was every bit as bigoted against white people as Archie Bunker was against black people.
That's funny.
It was greatness. And poor guy's dead. Also,
sad.
Also, some dude named Chad Everett died. I don't know who that is. I don't know, but apparently he was a big TV star in the 60s and 70s, but he predates me. Some show called Medical Center, where he played a swarthy, good-looking, handsome doctor.
Nice.
So I don't know what's up with that.
Okay.
But there you go.
Yeah.
Couple of deaths. Somebody else died, too. Who else died?
The guy in South Dallas
Yeah.
who can be attributed to multiple
that guy
Nobel
died
Peace
as well.
Prizes.
All right. You got anything on Drudge Report that you want to jump in with?
I'm kind of interested with this one. Cal Ripken Jr.'s mother abducted at gunpoint.
What?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to have to pull that one up. Cal Ripken, legendary baseball player for the Baltimore Orioles, Hall of Famer, one of my all-time favorite baseball players. Cal Ripken Jr.'s mother, who is the wife of Cal Ripken Sr., who is in his own right a very well-respected baseball player and manager. She's missing?
Well, it looks like she's actually been brought back okay, so she's okay. But she was actually gone for about 24 hours after she was abducted between 7 and 8 a.m. Tuesday. So, yeah. Interesting.
Is there any more to that?
It doesn't actually say that there's like an actual reason on here. And you would imagine, like, she's an old lady. I don't know why you would take her if you don't know who she is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why are you picking up old ladies?
Well, no, it's interesting because just the other day there was a story about Michael Jackson's mom being missing. Did you see
What?
that story?
No.
Yeah, she went missing. And then the family, but that family, especially Joe Jackson, who's always looking for a camera, always looking. I think it was something like they had a fight and she like just left and didn't tell anybody where she was going. She went and stayed with somebody because she's Katherine Jackson. You know, she's the one in charge of Michael's billions. So she can pretty much do and go wherever she wants. And I guess the family keeps an eye on her because she is the one in charge of all the money.
She could just bail at any moment.
Just bailed.
This is what the real 2012 is. Everyone's mothers go missing.
Yeah, celebrity moms are now being abducted. How awful is that? All right, how about this one? Christian Bale. You like Christian Bale?
Yeah.
Did you hear about this? You hear about what he did?
Showed up in one of the shooting victims' places. Yeah.
Yeah, he just took it upon himself. He bought a plane ticket and he flew to Aurora, Colorado, and he just started hanging out in the hospital, visiting with all the patients, the victims of the massacre there at the Aurora, Colorado movie theater. I thought pretty cool move by Christian Bale. Didn't have to do that. As a matter of fact, he was advised by the movie company and all that to just stay away from the story, that they didn't want any blowback. You know what I mean? They want to get away from this. They don't want anything to be attributed to the Batman movie specifically. And so he went on his own and he just wanted to go hang out with some of the victims and Tell him thanks for coming to my movie.
Yeah.
Sorry about all this.
I like that they don't want it to be attributed to them, but the guy did just call himself the Joker and played along as one of the fun characters.
Yeah, I noticed that he didn't do that in that new. I guess what other movies are out? I don't even know what movies are out.
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. I have no idea.
That Candidate movie looks good.
I'm not.
You haven't seen that?
Nuh-uh.
It's Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell.
Oh, okay.
They appear to be running.
Comedy.
Yeah, they're running against each other for some like congressional seat in some like small city. And Zach Galifianakis is apparently really gay, but nobody knows that he's really gay. I don't know. It looks really fun. He does the whole show like this. You know, the whole character that Zach does is like. And there's a scene where Will Ferrell punches a baby. It looks really funny.
Yeah, I would actually watch that.
Of course, it's a Will Ferrell stupid comedy.
Yeah.
What better do you have to do? Well, I'll sit and watch that. I like Zach Galifianakis. All right, you got anything else?
5 women raped man to death.
Raped a man to death.
Yes.
I got to hear this story.
In an extraordinary case of jealousy, a Nigerian man, husband of 6, was allegedly raped to death by his 5 spouses as he was paying too much attention to the 6th wife, an East Central Benue state. Is that how you say that? Benue state? Yeah. So somewhere in Nigeria.
They raped him to death.
Yeah, raped him to death.
Okay.
Because he was paying too much attention to the other people.
All right, here's one from the Wiggy San Francisco Public Library System. San Francisco Library installs computer privacy screens for more discreet porn watching. All right, now, every other library in the country doesn't want pervs coming in there and looking at porn on the computers. San Francisco's making it easier for them to not be detected.
Yeah.
The hell is that about? First of all, if you're going to the library to look at porn and you're not 12 years old, there's something wrong with you. You need to be out of the library. I don't want you around my kids.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I don't know what they. It's every once in a while I wonder like why certain things aren't legal, and then I think, oh yeah, someone has to stand up first and say, hey, I'm for this. Someone actually did that in San Francisco.
Yeah. In response to complaints about San Francisco's public library visitors openly viewing explicit content, including pornography, the network has installed plastic screens to block monitors from people nearby. Why wouldn't you just make it inaccessible to get porn in the library? Why do you need porn available in the libraries? Who uses the libraries? Kids don't even use libraries anymore, do they?
No, I don't
Libraries
think so.
are a huge waste of time, aren't they? Can't we just gut them all, burn the books, and turn them into community rec centers? I mean, what are we doing, really?
Or maybe they've just picked up on that, and now they're just going to turn the library into a arcade for the
yes,
the
with
homeless to
booths
go
in the back, with locks on the doors. Windex and paper towels are clean, or are free.
Tax dollars.
Sure. No, but seriously, I mean,
Right.
this is what's so wiggy about San Francisco. Any other public library system would go, well, we just can't have people coming in here looking at porn. This is not the place. It's inappropriate. San Francisco goes, no, everybody's free to do whatever they want. No, if you're really horny, and I don't know who I am to stand in between you and your sexual freedom, so you can just come on into the public library, and we're going to make it so that no one can see this. What do you think they're doing? Are you going to put someone over their lap? You know? No, but nobody just looks at porn, okay? You don't just pull up porn and start looking at porn for an hour without touching yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody does it. I had an argument with a porn star once, and I said that you realize that everybody who's ever seen you on screen has been masturbating. No, that's not true. Some people just watch. No, people don't just watch.
No.
They don't just watch. Porn is interactive. Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, even if you can't see what it is that he's jerking off to, you know that he's probably jerking off to porn. I mean, like, that seems pretty creepy. But, this is what San Francisco feels. It's kind of like in France. There was an older lady that was upset because people were having sex in public. There was some people that were having sex like right out in the middle of a park. And it's legal to have sex publicly, but it's basically...
It is?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that was like blowing me away. But basically, it's like kind of like an unspoken thing that you're supposed to make sure that you have a bit of privacy.
It's not cool.
Right, so...
It's not cool.
Maybe they're just taking a page on old France's book, Soon they'll be able to
That's
have
messed up. This
sex
is
in
messed
Golden Gate
up.
Park.
The watching of such materials in public has increasingly been the focus of debate and legislation as broadband technology becomes more widespread, pitting people who want internet access to be unrestrained against those who feel that controls must be placed on the public viewing of mature materials. Of course! How is that even an argument? You can't put up a bill. Why do you think Vivid doesn't have billboards?
Right.
Because you can't do that publicly.
Yeah.
Public library. These are not just your computers. These are also ours. Everyone in the community who pays taxes has paid for those computers, and I don't want you touching yourself. I was going to say, well, my 10-year-old is hanging out at the library, but I can't imagine that when my son is 10 years old that he will ever go to a library.
Yeah, you can't imagine that your son has gotten lost for 3 days and found himself in a library. What do you go to a library for anymore?
Well, you have the internet. You got Wikipedia. Yeah. What do you need to learn? You know?
Yeah.
Books? Are you kidding me?
No, there's a library.
Can libraries just become like storefronts where you walk in and you get an iPad and it's got every book in the library on the pad? And
that would make more sense.
You don't need all this space. You don't need to store books. We can burn all the books and transfer them digitally over to some other way.
I like the way you think. I know a homeless guy goes in, gets his iPad, goes into the bathroom, takes care of himself.
And it returns the iPad.
Returns the iPad, gets back to work.
It's usually got some big clunky thing attached to it, so you know that it can't be taken out of the library.
Beep, beep. Oh, that's right. I'm done with that.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else?
Let's see. 50 Shades of Business is the headline. 50 Shades of Grey replaces the Bible in some hotels.
Really?
Yeah. So they're apparently the Jameson Dene Hotel, a 40-bedroom retreat, has made a bold decision to replace the Gideon Bible with 50 Shades of Grey.
What is 50 Shades of Grey?
It's basically
it's a porn book, right, for chicks?
It's a guy who's like really big into like BDSM, that kind of thing.
And it's a real explicit book about crazy sex stuff that women are going crazy for, right?
Yeah, they're very horned up by this book, yeah.
Women, that's what women do. Women get horned up by words. They read it, they sort of visualize it, theater of the mind, they imagine it. Guys just want a picture of a girl spreading her legs. That's all a guy needs. Think about women, I mean, romance novels for decades. Where like you'd see women walking around with their romance now. That's porn. That's female porn.
Yeah, and this one's definitely taking it to a different level.
Yeah.
And so good for them. I'm excited about it. I was very excited when I heard 50 Shades of Grey was getting big. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's big. It's like the big book. All right, how about this one? This is a big news story. I've been saying this for a long time. And everybody else has as well. Newspapers and magazines, forget about it. They're gone. 10 years from now, they're not going to be any magazines. You don't need them. You don't need newspapers either. Everything's going to be digitally delivered to you for a subscription fee. You got the internet. Your daily newspaper is going to be on your internet. This whole idea of, think of the infrastructure that goes into delivering your newspaper. You got the trucks that deliver the paper, then you got the printing presses, then you got the people that actually run the printing presses, then you got the people who load the actual newspapers all bundled up into the back of trucks, then you got guys who drive the trucks, then you got people who drive the trucks who drop them off at a location where kids on bikes take the bundles and deliver them to their neighborhood. All of that's gone. All of that is all just wasted money. None of that needs to be spent anymore. Newsweek, the venerable magazine of record, Newsweek, Time, U.S. News and World Report. Those are like the three big ones. Actually, I don't know, is U.S. News and World Report even around anymore? I don't know. Newsweek has announced they will cease publication of their magazine and are going to go completely online.
Wow.
Newsweek will eventually transition to an online publication. The owner said today, marking the beginning of the end of the magazine's 79-year run as a print weekly. Chairman Barry Diller made the announcement during a quarterly earnings conference call, saying the New York-based company aims to curb investments in the money-losing business. Still, he stopped short of saying it would be a total shift to the internet. The transition to online from hard print will take place, Diller said. We're examining all of our options for the future. A plan to move Newsweek to an online-only publication will be announced as early as September. Didn't they announce it today? What do you mean?
Right.
Sir, what is this about then? If the official announcement's not going to come till September. A plan to move Newsweek to an online-only publication will be announced as early as September. Diller said Newsweek became part of his media holdings in 2011. Who cares? Another example of the death of the print news world.
They were saying yesterday on NPR that because of all this, the scandal and stuff that Rupert Murdoch is dealing with his press, that they're saying that he's going to get rid of all of his print stuff, which would be massive. I mean, that would just basically be the death
Why?
knell.
People don't read the newspaper anymore.
Yeah.
They just don't. I mean, I haven't read a newspaper and I'm pretty up on current events. I have not purchased a newspaper in years.
Well, why do you need to find out yesterday's news?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was printed last night at midnight. You know how much has changed? The internet has updates constantly on stories. I mean, it's stupid. It really is stupid. And nobody wants to see the world change, but this is what technology does. It makes us all change. All right, that's going to be it for today. That's the show. PMS for Wednesday afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, with more. For Jimmy Ryan, I am Pugs. Jimmy, anything in closing?
No, that's it.
All right, that's going to do it. We're out of here. It's PMS on thebarlivedallas.com.